Hi everyone, so thank you for joining the webinar. Thanks for waiting there just while we waited for a few more people to attend there. So welcome to the webinar, Cloud IT for Recruitment, a live case study webinar with Astbury Marsden. I'm just going to take you through the agenda now. So Adam Gurney, our Senior Project Manager, will be giving you an introduction into VESK with a brief overview of how it works and the business benefits Cloud IT can bring to your business. We'll then pass you over to Chirag Patel, who's the IT Manager at recruitment firm Astbury Marsden. He'll be discussing a little bit more about Astbury Marsden, and he'll be talking about the reasons for choosing VESK, and also we'll be sharing some of their cost-saving analysis and statistics, the business benefits for recruitment businesses, and then we'll pass it back to Adam Gurney, who will be discussing how the migration was managed, as well as discussing how they migrated the recruitment applications into the cloud. And at the end of the call, we'll be able to take on some of your questions with a Q&A session. If you have any questions, simply enter them in the questions box on the right-hand side. Type your questions into there, and then we'll come back to that at the end of the call, and we'll answer some of your questions. Okay, so I'll just pass you over to Adam now, who will discuss how VESK works.
Thank you, Amy. My name is Adam Gurney. I'm one of the Senior Project Managers at VESK. It's my job essentially to get clients onto the system. So my technical brief would be to look at what recruitment firms have on site or in the current infrastructure, and how well and how easily we can move that over into our own systems. Okay, so we've got a diagram here of how does VESK work. Now it's a fairly simple diagram. What VESK does, it provides the platform that includes your hosted desktop, your underlying and user applications, and most importantly, all your company data. This is basically all hosted from our secure infrastructure, and it can then be accessible from any device, from anywhere in the world, providing you've got an internet connection. Okay, so the VESK package. Well, as you can see from this image, our standard package itself includes a Windows 7 desktop, Microsoft Office 2010 as standard and previous versions, a Microsoft Exchange mailbox with 20 gigabytes of storage space that can be provisioned per user. We also bundle in business line applications such as Adobe PDF Reader, multiple different web browsers depending on your taste, and instant messenger services. We also handle the security layer, so our hosted desktops have full antivirus protection, whilst our email platforms have anti-spam. Now the VESK package itself also includes software assurance, so that you're able to upgrade to the latest versions of the Microsoft packages for free of charge, and that includes the operating system and Microsoft Office itself. Okay. Due to the hosted nature of virtual desktops, VESK itself is accessible anywhere from any location in the world, providing you have an internet connection. VESK is device agnostic, which means that your virtual desktop can be accessed from a wide range of devices. Generally, we include iPads, iPhones, Android devices, Blackberries, as well as thin clients. Now, thin clients are something that maybe some of you aren't familiar with. Basically, they're dumb terminals, so rather than being like a Windows desktop PC that you'd have under your desk, they're zero clients, so some of them have no working parts. They're a lot easier to manage, as well as being cheaper than traditional fat client PCs. Our service level agreement basically guarantees 99.9% uptime. However, we moved data centers in March last year. That was our primary facility, and we haven't fallen below 100% uptime on that platform as yet. VESK are able to host any application that can be run or installed on a standard fat client Windows or Linux build PC or unit, and this includes any back-end requirements such as SQL databases or recruitment CRM systems, etc. I'm going to pass you over to Chirag Patel now, who's the IT Manager for Astbury Marsden, who's going to go through the particular client case study that we did together.
Thanks, Adam. This is Chirag Patel, IT Manager of Astbury Marsden. Firstly, I'd like to go through and give you a little insights of Astbury Marsden. We're an award-winning recruitment firm internationally, focused on banking, finance, and management consultancy. We're in 3 different locations around the world: London, Hong Kong, and Singapore, comprising of 80 users or so. And we moved over to VESK in 2010 in August, and hopefully the next few slides will sort of give you some key benefits of how we made that decision of moving over to VESK. So you can see a few points there: scalable and flexible, pay monthly plan, so there's no hidden costs whatsoever. We're able to add sort of users and servers as and when. Just recently built a server in 2 days, so that's quite handy. Some of the cost comparisons, I mean, if we ever wanted to sort of remake the environment that we've got in VESK, it would be somewhere near the cost of £200,000, so very expensive infrastructure there. And some of the cost savings, I thought this was quite good. We saved pretty much £50 per head per user per month, which I thought was quite good. And given that all my servers are now in a data center, I've reduced quite a lot of energy in the server room. Seems quite good as well. Moving up from that, this was one of the key elements that I liked, was when we was opening new offices, we came across understanding that traditionally you would put a infrastructure out there, sort of charging you with DCs and various other servers that you might need. But in this instance, all we had to do was give the users laptops and desktops, and they were able to log on wherever they are in the world, which was very helpful. When we migrated over, these were some of the applications that we migrated over with. So we've got Microdebt, RPM, Daxtra, and Cube 19. And there's some of the applications that we sort of migrated over. Again, using it on any device, we're able to use a sort of secured access to log in wherever, however, and wherever you are, and that seems to be very, very good for our consultants here. And touch wood, on the last subject, we've never had to go down the disaster recovery route, but we've done a lot of testing, and we noticed that we can get ourselves back up and running in an hour. So this is one of the cost savings that we came across, 20% over 12 months, and this is mainly due to, as you can tell, hardware, and that was due to, obviously, all our servers being placed in a virtual environment, and they're now virtual, so saved us a lot of money on the hardware side of things. Here's a comment on from our COO at Astbury Marsden, and pretty much that's it from me. And I think I look forward to hearing from some of your questions later on. I'll pass you over back to Amy.
Thanks very much for your insight, Chirag. Just to remind attendees, if you have any questions that you would like to ask Chirag, we will answer them at the end of the webinar. If you have any questions at the moment, though, please feel free to enter them into the questions box, which is on the right-hand side. Just type in your questions and we'll come back to those later on. Okay, so what's really important about this case study is understanding how the Astbury Marsden migration was managed, which Adam will now discuss. So I'll just pass you over to Adam now.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, as Amy said, during this section we'll be covering the technical processes involved with exactly how we did migrate Astbury Marsden's infrastructure into the VESK Cloud itself. Okay, as Chirag has mentioned previously, Astbury Marsden were heavily reliant on a localized server-based infrastructure prior to their move into VESK. This meant that the migration itself was what we refer to as a classic physical to virtual shift, rather than some kind of cloud-to-cloud move, which are becoming more and more frequent as companies shift their particular data between hosting providers. So in Astbury Marsden's case, we performed pre-implementation audits to identify exactly what information needed to be moved into the new environment, exactly what information could be cut from being moved into the new environment. Some companies actually find it a useful experience when they've collated years of archive and archaic data that they don't really actually need to have on live user environments. So it's a good time then to have a bit of a cull and work out what needs to be moved up. Now, obviously this is all factored in during the pre-implementation phase. Obviously during this time we did identify what core company data files, the CRM database, email infrastructure and other associated components need to be moved in, and we can assess the build accordingly. So with the actual migration itself, we extracted data from the servers overnight and basically imported them into pre-configured VESK data stores the next day. We had vendor support for the essential CRM system that was Microdeck Profile. Basically, we got those guys on board to ensure that the imported data was accessible and was correctly configured as per the pre-implementation builds. Basically, our migration team also managed a rollout of local policies to ensure ease of access. Best practice standards were being followed throughout the on-site hardware. So basically, these are things that include locking down Windows PCs, locking down thin clients and associated devices, so they could only be used to access VESK rather than other resources or applications. We do this to ensure support burdens are reduced on the platforms, which is another cost-saving measure. Our technical team provided a physical on-site presence for the initial few days post-go-live onto VESK, basically to provide additional assistance and basically be able to quickly provide any resolutions to individual issues that do get raised post-move. There's always going to be a little few teething issues that crop up on a user level once the actual core infrastructure has been tested, but we find that having on-site engineers on site at least for the day after or a couple of days after, does provide that more reassuring feeling. With the migration itself as well, we copied over a number of third-party applications that tie in with the actual core infrastructure itself. So with regards to Profile, we copied over some analytics software. We copied over some candidate capture software. Good thing with this is obviously we have a level of knowledge with these particular software bases, so that we're able to provide support on it and we're easily able to manage and maintain these systems. What we have here in the next slide is a real basic image of the pre-VESK infrastructure itself that was over at Astbury Marsden, which basically shows, or it basically depicts how the infrastructure is spread across the two continents. Core information being stored in London and a replication data set stored in Asia. Now that was replicated over an IPsec VPN tunnel to Asia nightly. So Asian users would access their local infrastructure for the CRM, and London users would access their copy of it as well. Whilst mail was actually all hosted in London and accessed from that location itself. Okay, so what we have here is a post-migration VESK infrastructure chart. Again, depicts the fact that we've got two users accessing a centralized system stored within the VESK cloud. That includes a single copy of the VESK of the profile database and a single copy of an Exchange information store, accessed as depicted here from two different locations. Whereas this actually could be in a real-world scenario, it could be anywhere with an internet connection. Okay, so the next slide we're going to run through some of the recruitment apps that we do, and we're able to bring over into the VESK infrastructure. As you can see from the list of vendors, there's quite a few here. Basically, as I explained earlier in the webinar, VESK is able to host, run, manage, and maintain any Windows-based application that can be installed on a localized infrastructure, so on local hardware whether that be thin clients, PCs, servers. We can host all that in a virtual world as well. Obviously, since VESK's inception in 2009, our technical team have built up quite an extensive knowledge of just how some of these applications work. We have close relationships with Bond, with RPM, with Voyager, amongst some of them. This obviously gives us a real great insight into how we are then able to migrate the applications across. We have a knowledge of how they run. Obviously, we have close relationships with the vendors themselves. We have close relationships with their support teams. So nothing's ever, is not obtainable or not doable. Okay, I'm going to pass you back over to Amy. I'm going to leave some quotes on the screen for just a couple of seconds, just so you can have a quick run through of these, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thank you. We've got a customer quote here from one of our customers, T&T Recruit Solution. They are a smaller recruitment firm, and so you can see just some of the benefits that they've seen from a small business perspective. You can see their recommendation there. Okay, just got a little bit of information about data security as well. So you can see there all of your data is secure with VESK. So what we're going to do now is go to your questions. So we can see a few questions have come in already. Just a reminder, if you would like to ask a question to Adam or Chirag, please type your question into the question box on the right-hand side. Okay, Adam, I see there's one for you here.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm not going to name any names. But the question has been put to me is basically how long would it take to move my infrastructure into VESK? Okay, that's a good question. It's a bit of a tough one to answer in that obviously any migration would depend on the exact size of an organisation itself. It would depend on how much data there would be. I mean, start to finish for this particular case study itself was yeah, in terms of a technical point of view, was a couple of months. Now that includes obviously the pre-implementation work that needs to be done. That's the pre-migration work. That's the build, and then that's the post-migration work as well. So that includes any follow-up testing work that needs to be done. So typically, we're able to turn around new client migrations very quickly. Again, it does depend on the size and the data set store sizes and how quickly you as a client would be willing to move. So feel free, if you want to send me over that information directly, I'll put my email address at the end, and we can carry on that dialogue afterwards.
Okay, so if you do have any more questions, please do enter them in the question and answers box. Okay, we've got just seen we've had one more question come in.
Okay, the question is basically where is the infrastructure stored? Now we have 4 data centers dotted around the world. Our primary sites are generally based around the southeast. We also have a data center in the west coast in the US, which we're able to facilitate for international users. We look at bringing sites up in Asia online, depending on again requirements, but at the moment mainly they're UK hosted in the southeast.
Okay, great. Thanks very much for that, Adam. Okay. Any more questions that you do have? Obviously, we can obviously answer any more questions that you've got if you send your questions to info@vesk.com. Okay, so thanks very much for joining the webinar. I think we'll wrap up there. And if you do have any additional questions, please do send them over. Also, Chirag has said that he'll happily answer any questions for you. If you send them through to info@vesk.com, then let us know any questions. I'm sure we can put you in contact with Chirag, and he'll be able to answer any of your questions for you. If you require any further information, then do let us know. You can give us a call as well and have a discussion about your IT strategy. Also, after this webinar, you'll be taken to a web page. It's a short survey on there, only about 4 questions. Just some feedback on the webinar would be really useful. For example, what you'd like to see covered in our future webinars. So if there's a topic that you'd like us to cover, you'd like some more information on, then we can cover that in our next webinar. In the next few days, I'll be sending you the webinar recording, so you can come back and refer to it. And also, if you are interested in receiving a free trial of a demo virtual desktop, then I can send you one if you do let me know. And our next webinar will be in May, so keep an eye out for further details of our next webinar. I'll be sure to send you some more information. Please do feel free to visit our website. We've got a new website live, so do go and visit our website and also our social media channels as well. So thanks very much for attending, and hope to see you at our next webinar. Thank you.